Hey everyone, how you doing? So today I'm actually going to showcase the game that I'm working on. It's called Tales of Tirunia, and I'm super excited to show you the gameplay elements. This is essentially the game, unpolished, of course, and needs a lot of tweaks and a lot of bug fixes still. But this is essentially the gameplay that's going to ship with the first release, and yeah, I just want to show you guys how it works. So first off, you will have the choice to go PvP or PvE, right? PvP is 1v1 matchmaking. There's also going to be a private lobby system that I'm working on at the moment, but it's not implemented yet. Then there's PvE. So as you can see, there will be a solo and co-op mode, but it's not going to ship with the first release. I'm going to remove those buttons soon. But for now, there is a practice, which is just against a bot that I implemented into the game. So you can choose that, and then you can go and select your army. So the first few armies that we'll ship with is the following: Bog Fiends, High Terrians, Radiant, and the Wild Terrians. Hive Mind, this is just a concept art. Don't mind that. It's not going to ship with this version. And then Bloodbound Cult is not going to be shipping with the first version, at least not the playtest version, and not even the demo, but with the first release, it will. And then we will have two more armies: the Frostborn, actually three more armies: the Frostborn, the Ironforge, and the Riders of High Turan. Sorry. And so, yeah, you will see what these means. What these mean. All of these are very different armies that you can play. So I'll go ahead and play High Terrians. And so High Terrians are heavy on area control abilities. Bog Fiends are overtime damage, more strategic plays. Radiants do rooted in evolution, play around the legendary unit. And then Wild Terrians just have very strong units with good chaining capabilities. This image doesn't change yet. I'll fix that. And these don't work at the moment. They probably will be deleted from the very first build anyway. So I'm just going to start with the High Terrians. I get into matchmaking and I get into a game. There's going to be a nice loading screen soon. And then I'm loaded in. And all of a sudden you can see that this is the Crystal Cavern arena. This is going to be the first default arena you can play on. You will get this arena. And then we will add in more new arena types. For now, it's just going to be the same, essentially the same board, but with different visuals. And then later on, we'll also add different arenas that have like slightly different ways you can play on. And you can see I got my hand here, which is always going to be 5 units. And I can check what these units do. So all of the units that have these little symbols, they have abilities. And for example, this is the Queen, the High Terrian Queen. While the Queen is in play, all allied High Terrians are inspired. After placement, when this unit is placed, inspire all allied High Terrian units. When a new allied High Terrian unit is placed on the board, inspire that unit. And then inspire is a gain +1 on each side. I'm still working out sort of like the formatting for all of these, but it's going to be pretty similar. There's also a shop where you can buy items. These all going to have a tooltip when you hover them. But let's just say I have 2 gold now, and all of these cost 2 gold, and there's a reroll button, which will also just cost you 2 gold to reroll. Econ system I'm still tweaking and prices and stuff like that, so don't mind too much detail to that. But yeah, I'm just going to buy these chain links here, and you can see that if I hover it here, I'll see the recipes that I can build from these chain links with all the different items that I can get from that. And we can get into items in a little bit. So I'm going to start the game, and the High Terrians typically, so again, they revolve around area control, and specifically the Queen, which is the legendary unit, and protecting that Queen. So I'm going to put the Arcanist, which after placement, when this unit plays, attach an Arcanist seal to each free nearby cell. Arcanist seal, the enemy cannot place a unit in this cell for the next 3 rounds. So I can place this unit, for example, here, and it will lock down all of these areas. I turned off the grid a little bit, so it's going to be slightly different, but don't mind that. And so the enemy plays this unit here on the top left corner. After placement, when an enemy unit is placed next to this card, perform an attack in each direction. So typically, when you place a card, or like a unit, I should say, I need to rework the wording from card to unit because these aren't really cards anymore. But anyway, So here, when I place a unit on the board, that unit will capture the area that it's placed on, and on top of that, it will perform an attack to every single nearby enemy. And the attack is always going to happen in the following order: top, right, down, and left. So I can maybe challenge this unit. I can see that this has 0 and 0 on both of these sides, and it has a 5 and 3 here. So I want to challenge. If I want to challenge this, I have to do it by placing a unit whose opposite side, so in this case the left side, is higher than the right side. So I can do that with this guy. I can place this, the counter triggers, it attacks me, but because it's a 0, it doesn't do anything, and then my guy captures that unit. And then the enemy placed the Titan down on the board, which has an ability called Attack On. So after area captured, if this unit captures an enemy unit, gain +1 on each side and perform an attack in each direction. So this is a really cool unit. This is the legendary unit of the Wild Tyrians. And you can also see that it has what's called a chain indicator. So in this case, the chain indicator here is a 2, which means it chains twice, and it chains into these two directions, which is left and right. So he placed the unit here, it captured my unit, and then it chained, which means when this unit was captured, it was commanded to perform another attack in the direction of the chaining indicator, which was left. So left chaining 2 captures the 2. This unit now attacks with the 1, captures the 0. So the enemy has now 3 points, and I have 1 because of this guy, right? And that's basically the very basics of the game. All of those are now covered. I can look at my shop and I can buy maybe this iron ore, because then I can create a Vorpal chain from the 2 items. And so a Vorpal chain is an item which, before attack, enables chaining in the attacker direction and increases radius to 2 if it was 1. So if I put this item onto one of my units, I can only put items on units that are in my hand at the moment, then when I place that unit, it will have a chaining capability. So I want to keep an eye on this, because this is a very good item, right? So, okay, it's my turn. I'm going to place my queen here. The queen will inspire the Arcanist, right? That's what happened there. And the enemy didn't really have a good place to place, so he just placed there. Now, I do have these 2 cells which still have the seal on them, but they will expire next turn. And I really want to make sure that my queen is protected as much as possible. So I'm going to try and build around that. I can place the council, who is a politician, and it deflects a successful capture attempt. That's his ability. And you can tell that this has an ability because there is an indicator on the top right corner right there. So I'm just going to place this guy here. It's going to get inspired, which is pretty good. Okay, so it was a failed capture attempt anyway, because it was a 4 against my 6. So deflect is still on, but now my deflect doesn't really do anything, because, you know, the unit is placed in a cell that doesn't have any nearby free cells anymore. So I still want to protect my queen to make sure that she doesn't get captured. So I'm just going to place this guy here, so nothing can really capture my queen anymore. And she will just keep buffing my units whenever I place them. Okay, so here this guy has this unit which he placed on top of my Arcanist, right? So he captured my Arcanist. It doesn't really matter anymore, because Arcanist only uses ability after placement, but we can use Vorpal Chain here. I can equip this to my unit, and when I place it here, we will gain chaining, and so now I captured 2. Very nice. I also have 18 gold. Again, economy is running away a little bit. I'm gonna reroll here. Oh, we have another Vorpal Chain if you want. I really like this item. It's a little bit OP, not gonna lie. And if he can do something here, actually, I can capture both of these units. So I have Shiomi. Shiomi is the Queen's Guard. After placement, the first time this unit is placed, perform an attack and then return to the owner's hand. I can even perhaps do Reinforced Leather, Forge Amber into Dark Scale Frame, which is before attack, gain +3 on the attacking side, but -2 on the opposite side. Shiomi, by the way, already has chaining to 2 on all sides. He is 666. When I place this unit, it will be inspired by the queen. Now, It's also important to note that in this case, for example, this guy has an after placement effect, this guy has an after placement effect, this guy has an after placement effect. So which one is played when? Well, that depends on when you play the unit. So it's in the order of the units were played. And because I think here the situation was this guy was placed first, then this, we should see that this triggers first, then this, and then this. Let's see. I'm just gonna place my shield here. So triggered, 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 and now we attack, capture, and capture, right? And you can notice that Xiaomi kept the 7 on each side because of the queen's buff, right? So if I place Xiaomi again, well, guess what? He's gonna capture again, or get +1 on each side again, which is really, really good. We can also go ahead and maybe capture here, but I really like the Violet-Terran Queen. So this girl is after area captured. When an enemy unit is captured, apply Enraged to all surrounding allies. Enraged gain +1 on each side. Surrounding just means all units within a 1 range, including diagonally. So I really want to capture this queen, to be honest, because it's a really, really good unit. Now, the best way to do that is perhaps using Xiaomi here, because he's chaining. So we capture, we get +1, which is nice, and then we go ahead and capture again. And off we go, and we have now the queen. All right, so let's continue. We need to find a situation where we can maybe capture both of these, and I can already see one. So if I use my dark scale frame here and place this on this unit, and then we place the unit here, we will get enough value so that we can capture on both sides. And so again, dark scale frame, it gives 3 on the attacking side, but then -2 on the defending side. And so you can see here that my 0-0 is because of the dark scale frame, and then I have the 7-7 as well. Yeah, and I got punished slightly because this guy now captured both of my units. But again, I have a chaining unit here with 6-6. This is a 1 and 0. Oh, sorry, 1-5-0, right? So I can also just capture here, which is going to be a double capture. There you go. We just changed the effect of the enrage. It still is a little bit tweaking, I think, because it's very overwhelming at the moment, but it's looking pretty good. And then from here on, it's just like basically the end of the game. We can just start not really thinking. So yeah, you can see I have 55, 61 gold right now, which is a lot of gold. Again, I'm going to change a lot around the economy, how much gold you can get, how many items you can buy, even maybe limit the slot of items that you can totally get. But yeah, that's something else we have to figure out. So what can we do here? Maybe I can just capture here. Sorry. Yeah, there you go. We also need to tweak the placement a little bit because sometimes it's hard to place the unit a little bit. All right. And now this is 3 and 2. And I have a 3 here, which is going to be a 4 because of the queen, right? So what I can do is Whirlpool chain this guy, place it, get the 4 in, and then get the double chain, and then we just capture, and it's GG. So yeah, I don't have an end screen yet. I mean, the component is done, but it's not implemented into the game yet. But that's it. It's a really fun game, in my opinion. And all the different armies have very different abilities, and so they all play very differently. And there's a lot of just like strategic elements to it. You know, thinking about how you want to place your units and how to make sure that they don't get captured, and how you can maybe place units so that you can capture the most enemy units possible. So yeah, that's that. That was the first public, I guess, full game that I played. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know. If you did, join the Discord server. It's going to be in the description. And yeah, maybe wishlist the game on Steam. It's going to be completely free to play. You know, no loot boxes, no pay to win. There will be some stuff that you can only buy with real currency, but you can trade everything else on the Steam marketplace. So I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.